Hello again, it's Joe. This is my second review. I'm going to be talking about the graphic novel Spider-Man: Kraven's Last Hunt, and here that is. I hope you can see that. Pretty cool cover. You've probably heard of this comic if you're a Spider-Man fan or Marvel Comics fan. It's probably one of the most famous Spider-Man story arcs, which is kind of funny because it features one of his, I guess, least popular villains. But the ironic thing about Kraven the Hunter being the main villain is that, essentially, in the plot, he decides that since he's dying, or I forget, because he has like a wish to die, or basically he feels like there's nothing left for him to live for, he decides to finally take Spider-Man out, and he actually does. He shoots him with like a tranquilizer and buries him alive, and then proceeds to take over his duties as Spider-Man, and defeats the creature Vermin, who's an awesome villain, by the way, kind of a feral, rat-like creature who can talk to rats. He's originally a Captain America villain, I believe, and he's pretty vicious. Actually, probably one of my favorite like B-level supervillains from Marvel. But yeah, it's quite well written. It's actually kind of introspective, almost philosophical look at life from the eyes of Kraven and Spider-Man, kind of reestablishing and exploring what it means for him to be Spider-Man and kind of this weird spiritual connection he has with the whole idea of superheroism. I'm not really sure. It's kind of vague, but the themes in the novel are kind of interesting, and the overall plot's pretty good. Considering that the style of older drawings and animation comics back in the late 80s when this was written were fairly good, but I mean not particularly as clear and shiny and detailed as I typically like them to be. I still think it was pretty well drawn, quite well written, and well executed. It's pretty awesome. The scene where Kraven the Hunter kind of is thinking about his mother and ultimately shoots himself. I mean, it kind of interesting how this story basically, because of this one act, Kraven is sort of up to considered to be one of Spider-Man's greatest villains. I'm not really sure about that. I think that he was pretty good in the story, and because of this particular story and the video game Shattered Dimensions, I have grown to like Kraven the Hunter a little bit more, but I don't know if I'd quite rank him as being one of the high echelon Spider-Man villains. But yeah, it's a pretty well written comic, and Vermin's pretty awesome. If you haven't read this, definitely check it out. Yep, it's Spider-Man: Kraven's Last Hunt. Till next time, see you.